Have you ever noticed how the wealthiest people never seem to be in a hurry? While everyone else is rushing to make money quickly, they're just waiting, calm, patient, almost annoyingly relaxed about everything. Here's what nobody tells you about this. That patience isn't a personality trait. It's not about being naturally calm or zen. It's a strategic weapon, and it might be the most powerful advantage wealthy people have over everyone else. Here at Simple Money, we've watched thousands of people try to build wealth, and I've discovered something that changed how I see everything. The difference between people who build lasting wealth and people who stay broke isn't intelligence. It's not hard work. It's not even luck. It's their relationship with time itself. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how patience creates wealth, and why most people will never understand this until it's too late. Here's what's really happening in the world of money right now. We live in a culture of speed, fast food, fast fashion, fast money. Everything promises instant results. Lose weight in 7 days. Get rich with this one trick. Build a business overnight. And this obsession with speed is quietly destroying people's financial futures. Because here's the truth. Real wealth isn't built quickly. It's built slowly, methodically, through small decisions, compounded over years and decades. But our brains aren't wired for this. We're designed for immediate gratification. Our ancestors needed calories now, safety now, results now. Waiting could mean death, so we evolved to value immediate rewards over distant ones. Even when the distant ones are objectively better. Think about it this way. Would you rather have $100 today or $110 next month? Most people take the 100 today. Even though waiting gives you 10% more, that's a 120% annual return, better than almost any investment. But we can't help ourselves. We want it now. This is what psychologists call present bias, and it's costing people fortunes every single day. Wealthy people have learned to overcome this bias. Or more accurately, they've built their lives so they don't have to fight it. They've created what I call patience infrastructure, systems that make waiting easy instead of painful. The first way patience creates wealth is through the compound advantage. You've probably heard about compound interest, but you don't really understand it. Nobody does. Not at first, because our brains literally can't process exponential growth intuitively. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine you have $2,000. You can either spend it on a vacation right now, or invest it at 8% annual returns for 40 years. What's the difference? The vacation gives you 1 week of memories. Nice, but temporary. The investment? It grows to $43,477 from $2,000 just by waiting. No additional money added, just patience. Pure patience transformed into 21 times your original amount. But here's where it gets really interesting. Most people hear this and think, okay, I'll start investing when I have more money, or when I'm making more, or after I pay off debt. They wait to start being patient, which is insane when you think about it. Because the real power of compound interest isn't the interest rate, it's time. Every year you wait to start is a year of growth you can never get back. If you start at 25 instead of 35, you don't just get 10 more years of growth. You get 10 years of growth that itself grows for decades. That's the compound part. The growth grows. Warren Buffett understood this early. Most of his wealth was accumulated after age 50. Not because he suddenly got better at investing, because his earlier investments had decades to compound. He became a billionaire by being patient for 40 years. While everyone else was chasing quick wins, he was just waiting. The second way patience creates wealth is what I call the negotiation buffer. This is probably the most underrated wealth-building tool that exists, and most people never even realize it's a thing. Here's how it works. When you're desperate, you have zero negotiating power. You take whatever you can get, whatever price, whatever terms, whatever interest rate, because you need it now. But when you can wait, suddenly you have power. Massive power. Think about buying a car. The dealership knows most people need a car soon. Maybe their old one died. Maybe they just got a new job. So there's pressure, time pressure. And that pressure costs you thousands of dollars. You pay sticker price, you accept bad financing, you take the first offer. But wealthy people? They don't need a car now. They're just looking, browsing, And the dealership knows this, so they offer better deals, lower prices, better financing, because they're competing for someone who might walk away, someone with the luxury of patience. This applies to everything: jobs, houses, investments, services, everything. The person who can walk away always gets better terms than the person who needs to say yes. Always, without exception. Let me give you a specific example. Two people apply for jobs, same qualifications, same experience, same interview performance. But one person is unemployed and desperate, needs income immediately. Bills are piling up. The other person has a job already, just exploring options, testing the market. Who do you think negotiates a better salary? The desperate person accepts the first offer. Grateful to have anything. The patient person counters, asks for more. Maybe walks away from offers that aren't quite right. And they end up making $10,000 or $20,000 more per year. Same job, different negotiating position, all because of patience. But here's what makes this so cruel. You need money to have patience. It takes money to be able to wait, to turn down bad deals, to negotiate from strength. So the people who need good deals the most are the ones least able to get them, while wealthy people who could afford to overpay never have to, because they have time on their side. The third way patience creates wealth is through the crisis opportunity. This is where patience becomes almost like a superpower, and it's how some people become wealthy during the exact moments that destroy everyone else. Here's the pattern. Something bad happens. A recession, a market crash, a pandemic. Most people panic. They sell investments, they cut spending, they make fear-based decisions. Because they're thinking about survival right now, this week, this month, this year. But wealthy people? They're thinking about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And they know something that everyone else forgets in the moment. This will pass. It always does. And when it passes, there will be incredible opportunities for people who were patient enough to wait. Let me tell you what happened in 2008. The housing market crashed. Millions of people lost their homes. It was devastating, tragic, a genuine crisis. And during that crisis, a small group of wealthy investors bought thousands of properties at 30, 40, 50% below their previous values. They didn't buy because they were smarter. They bought because they could wait. They had cash. They had time. They weren't desperate to sell, so they could be patient while everyone else was panicking. Fast forward to today. Those properties have doubled or tripled in value. Patient investors made millions, just by waiting out a crisis that destroyed others. But here's what nobody wants to admit about this. The system almost encourages these crises. Because every crisis transfers wealth from the impatient to the patient. From people living paycheck to people with cushions. From those who need money now to those who can wait for better opportunities. Think about it. If you have 6 months of expenses saved, a market crash is scary but survivable. You can keep your investments, wait for recovery, maybe even buy more while prices are low. But if you have zero savings, that same crash is catastrophic. You might lose your job, have to sell investments at the worst possible time, go into debt just to survive. Same event, completely different outcomes, based entirely on who had the patience infrastructure built before the crisis hit. The fourth way patience creates wealth is what I call the learning compound. This one is subtle, but it might be the most important of all. Wealthy people understand that becoming good at anything takes time, real time. Not 3 months, not a year, years, plural, maybe decades. And they're willing to invest that time because they know the payoff is enormous. Think about investing. Anyone can buy stocks. It's literally a few clicks on an app. But understanding markets, understanding business fundamentals, understanding when to buy and when to sell, that takes years of study, years of mistakes, years of learning. Most people aren't willing to invest that time. They want to get rich quick, so they jump from strategy to strategy. Crypto 1 month, day trading the next, real estate after that. They're always chasing the newest thing, the fastest path, and they never develop deep expertise in anything. Wealthy people do the opposite. They pick something, study it deeply, practice it patiently, make mistakes, learn from them, and gradually, over years, They become genuinely good at it. Good enough that their returns improve dramatically. Not through luck, through skill developed patiently over time. Let me give you a concrete example. Two people start investing at age 25. Person A reads one book, picks a strategy, sticks with it for 40 years. Person B reads 50 books, tries 20 different strategies, switches whenever something isn't working fast enough. Who do you think ends up wealthier? You might think person B, more knowledge, more strategies, more flexibility, but it's almost always person A, because they gave their strategy time to work. They learned its nuances. They didn't panic and switch during bad years. They developed patience-based expertise instead of knowledge-based confusion. This applies beyond investing, business, skills, relationships, career. Everything valuable takes time to build. But we live in a world that tells us everything should be instant. So people give up too soon, switch too fast, never give anything enough time to actually work. The fifth way patience creates wealth is through the relationship interest. This might sound soft or fluffy, but it's incredibly practical and incredibly profitable. Wealthy people build relationships slowly. They invest in people over years, decades, without expecting immediate returns. They help people, make connections, add value, and they wait patiently for those relationships to mature and bear fruit. Most people do the opposite. They network transactionally. What can you do for me? Can you help me now? They're always taking, always asking, always in a hurry, and people can sense this, so they pull back. They don't want to be used. But when you're patient with relationships, when you give without expecting immediate return, people remember. They want to help you back. They recommend you. They invest in your ideas. They open doors because you've proven you're thinking long-term, that you're someone worth betting on. I've watched this play out hundreds of times. Someone spends 5 years genuinely helping people in their industry. No agenda, just adding value, being useful, being patient. Then one day they need something, a job, an investment, a partnership, and suddenly 20 people show up ready to help because they've been building relationship capital for years. Compare this to someone who only reaches out when they need something, who disappears between asks, who's always in crisis mode, always desperate, always now. They burn through relationships. People stop responding. Doors close. Because patience wasn't part of their relationship strategy. But here's where this gets really interesting. Relationship capital compounds just like financial capital. Every good relationship makes future relationships easier. People introduce you to other people. Vouch for you. Open doors you didn't even know existed, but only if you're patient enough to build real trust over time. Now let me tell you about David. David is 32. He's been trying to build wealth for 7 years. And he's frustrated. Really frustrated. Because he keeps doing everything right, or so he thinks. David invests. But he checks his portfolio every day. When it drops 3%, he panics. Sells. Waits for things to stabilize, then buys back in. Usually at higher prices than he sold for. He's been doing this for years, and his returns are basically zero. Because he keeps interrupting the compound interest process. David tried starting a business. He spent 2 months on it, didn't make money immediately. Gave up. Tried a different business. Same result. 3 months. No immediate profit. Moved on. He started and abandoned 6 different business ideas in 3 years. None of them had time to actually work. David wants to buy a house. But he keeps waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect price, the perfect property. He's been looking for 4 years. Meanwhile, prices have gone up 40%. His perfect patience for the perfect deal has cost him hundreds of thousands in equity he could have been building. David switches jobs every 18 months, always chasing a higher salary. And he gets it. Each job pays more than the last, but he never stays long enough to get promoted, to build real expertise, to become valuable enough for serious raises. He's optimizing for short-term salary bumps while sacrificing long-term career growth. See the pattern? David thinks he's being strategic. He thinks he's making smart moves, but he's actually just impatient. He wants results now, proof now, success now. And that desperation is keeping him broke, because wealth doesn't work on his timeline, it works on its own timeline. and his constant interruptions prevent anything from actually growing. Now let me tell you about Rebecca. Rebecca is also 32. Similar background, similar income. Completely different results. Rebecca started investing at 25. She set up automatic transfers, $200 every month, into index funds. And then she did something radical. She stopped checking. Seriously. She looks at her portfolio twice a year. Maybe. She doesn't know what it did today, or this week, or this month, and she doesn't care. The market crashed 15% last year. Her friends were panicking. Selling. She didn't even notice until 3 months later. By then it had mostly recovered. Her account just kept buying. Every month, through the crash, through the recovery. No emotion, no panic, just patient, automatic investing. 7 years later, her portfolio is worth $83,000. She only contributed $16,800. The rest is growth. She's on track to be a millionaire by 50. Not through luck, through patience, through not touching it, through letting time do the work. Rebecca started a business 4 years ago. It didn't make money for 8 months. She kept going. Lost money for another 6 months. She kept going. By year 2, she was barely breaking even. But she kept going. Now in year 4, she's making $90,000 a year in profit. The business is worth $300,000 because she gave it time. Patient, persistent time. Rebecca bought a house 3 years ago. It wasn't perfect. The kitchen was outdated. The yard needed work. But the price was right. The location was good. And the timing was acceptable. She bought it, started building equity. That house is worth $60,000 more than she paid. Plus she's paid down $20,000 in principal. $80,000 in wealth created. Just by being willing to buy something imperfect and let time work. Rebecca has been at the same company for 5 years. She's been promoted twice. Her salary has increased 70%. She's now managing a team, building real expertise, creating value that's hard to replace. Because she stayed long enough to become genuinely valuable. The difference between David and Rebecca isn't intelligence. It's not discipline. It's not even strategy. It's patience. Pure patience. Rebecca understands that wealth is built through time. David thinks wealth is built through action. He's always doing something. She's comfortable letting time do the work. Here's what most people don't realize about patience and wealth. It's not passive. It's not about sitting around doing nothing. It's about doing the right things and then having the discipline to not undo them, to not interrupt the process, to trust that time is working even when you can't see immediate results. This is so hard for people to understand, because we're surrounded by stories of overnight success, the startup that exploded, the investment that 10x'd in a year, the business that went viral. These stories are everywhere. They're exciting, they're inspiring, they're also completely misleading. For every overnight success story, there are 10,000 stories of slow, patient wealth building that nobody talks about. Because they're boring. There's no drama, no excitement. Just someone investing consistently for 30 years. Someone building a business slowly for a decade. Someone developing skills patiently over time. But here's the thing. Boring works. Boring builds wealth. Exciting usually loses money. Because exciting means everyone's paying attention. Everyone's competing. Prices are inflated. Opportunities are overvalued. By the time something is exciting enough for you to hear about it, the real money has already been made. By people who were patient enough to be there early. The uncomfortable truth is this. Our economy is designed to extract money from impatient people and give it to patient ones. Every time someone panic sells, patient investors profit. Every time someone needs money now and takes a high-interest loan, patient lenders profit. Every time someone buys something impulsively, patient business owners profit. It's not a conspiracy. It's just how the system works. Money flows from people with high time preference to people with low time preference. From people who need it now to people who can wait. From the desperate to the calm. Always. Without exception. And here's what gives me hope about this. Patience is learnable. It's not a fixed personality trait. It's a skill. And more importantly, it's a system. You can build patience infrastructure in your life. Automatic investing so you can't interrupt it. Emergency funds so you're not desperate. Clear goals so you remember why you're waiting. Accountability, so you don't give up too early. The compound advantage, the negotiation buffer, the crisis opportunity, the learning compound, the relationship interest. These aren't just theoretical concepts, they're practical tools that anyone can use. If they're willing to be patient, if they're willing to play the long game, if they're willing to trust that time is working even when results aren't visible yet. So here's my question for you. Are you building wealth on your timeline or on wealth's timeline? Are you trying to force results immediately? Or are you patient enough to let compound interest, compound learning, compound relationships do their work over years and decades? Because here's the thing, you can't rush time, you can't speed up compound growth, you can't force opportunities to appear on your schedule, but you can position yourself to benefit from time. To have time work for you instead of against you. To be the patient person who profits when everyone else is panicking. The wealthy aren't smarter than you. They aren't luckier. They aren't even working harder. They just understand something about time that most people learn too late. If they ever learn it at all. They understand that patience isn't about waiting. It's about positioning yourself so that time becomes your ally instead of your enemy. And once you understand that, once you really internalize it, everything changes. Because suddenly you're not competing with everyone else for quick wins. You're playing a different game entirely. A game where time is on your side, where patience is your secret weapon, where wealth is inevitable if you just don't interrupt the process.